So have you seen these new Hourglass palettes pop up on the market? Tell you what I think about this gorgeous palette. This is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked Dragon palette. The one issue with these palettes is that Hello, welcome to the channel. So have you seen these new Hourglass palettes pop up on the market? I have been using this for about 2 weeks now, almost every single day. So I have all of my thoughts and collective opinions on this palette, and we are going to go through each product inside this palette, pop it on the face, and I will tell you what I think about this gorgeous palette and if it is right for you and what you are looking for to add to your makeup collection, because it doesn't mean just because it's beautiful that you really need it. So we will talk all about those things together. I'm Letitia, professional makeup artist of 11 years, and yeah, I do makeup reviews, I do makeup travel, shopping videos, vlogs, all that stuff. So if you'd like, please subscribe and let's get into the video. So starting with the cover and the design, you have this gold background with the dragon in a blue and green type of shades. Very pretty. I was actually personally quite happy that this design was on the lightest palette that goes with my complexion, because I didn't really love the other designs, but I love like the more gold led designs. I feel like it's very chic. So this is the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit Unlocked Dragon palette, okay, and you have 6 shades. It's a very weighty, heavy type product. The magnet is quite strong, a little bit difficult to open because it feels like you can open it here with this groove like this, but you actually can't. You have to kind of press it open like that. It's a little bit challenging at first, but I kind of have got the hang of it now. So you have 6 shades in the palette. You have 2 finishing powders, 2 blushes, a bronzer, and a highlighter. So the number 1 here, this is the finishing powder in Dream Light. Number 2 is the blush in Peach Fusion, really nice peachy blush. Number 3 is the finishing powder in Divine Light. And number 4 is the blush in Mauve Haze. Number 5 is the bronzer in Soft Bronze. And number 6 is the highlighter in Sunlit Strobe Light, okay? Now, I've been using all of them except for, I don't use these 2 quite as much. These 4 I am getting quite a bit of use out of. So this is a really bright, almost purpley type of really white, iridescent under eye setting powder brightening type of product. I've been setting it with a small brush like this under my eyes. I've kind of used this one a little bit more for under the eyes and this one for like setting around the other areas of the face, just because you want more of a white brightening area under the eyes as opposed to like around the nose and mouth and on the forehead. So let's put this one on, and I will do one side and then you can see if you can spot a difference. So tapping it on, it's a pearlescent, so it is a setting powder, but it's not your setting powder that absorbs light and completely reduces shine. I feel like it's not that great at blurring, as opposed to some other setting powders that really blur the under eyes because they're completely absorbing any light and creating like an illusion of blurred effect, whereas this, it's designed to be more brightening, so therefore it has reflection, so I feel like the blurring is not there as much. So I don't know if you can see between one eye and the other eye. That's the side with no powder, and that's the side with powder. You tell me in the comments if you can actually see. On my face today, I actually have the TIRTIR red cushion. So it is like a satin finish. So it's not completely matte, but it's definitely not uber glowy, and it almost doesn't actually need that much setting day to day. These lights kind of make it a little bit more shiny, but it doesn't always need setting. These will be linked down below, as well as the other elements that are on my face that we're not exactly talking about, but I'm going to do a lot of my face with this palette today. So that's the setting powder for the under eye. Okay, flipping over the brush, and I'm going to grab the other setting powder and just kind of set areas where I would normally set on the chin. And this also has a pearlescence to it. it knocks back shine, but it doesn't completely dull and mattify. It still has some light refracting properties to it, you can see. But it's not like a full-on mattifying powder like your Huda Beauty Easy Bake powder would be. But when you look up really closely at your skin, you can see soft shimmer effect that it has. So if you know you're really not going to like that under the eye, you will not like these setting powders. So I'm going to do the other eye. And where the shimmer is most noticeable is when you go out in natural sunlight and the sunlight hits your skin, and you can see that there is a soft glow of pearlescence on your skin. Okay. So that's the powder on the face. Now I'm going to use the bronzer and then both blushes on either cheek so you can see. The one issue with these palettes is that the pans are small for things like a bronzer and like a blush, because if you really just want to get the bronzer, and with bronzers we tend to be, you know, kind of swelling in the pan, putting it on, swelling in the pan, putting it on, whereas you can't do that with this one. You have to be careful because otherwise you would pick up things like the blush and the highlighter. So you can't kind of go quite quickly swirly, swirly, swirly. You need to slowly build it up all around the brush, which is okay, but it's just something to think about. But then that comes in the fact that you have a very compact product with all of your, you know, powder elements on the face. I'm going to put it on this side. I really have liked this bronzer. I would say it is quite a red bronzer. I know people in the past have spoken about the Hourglass bronzers being very warm and very red tones. I might have mentioned also that this is my first ever Hourglass palette, so I do not have experience from previous collections because they do bring these out every year, and this is the first time that I have bought one. So you can see it's quite red on there on my forehead, which I feel like some people might not like, or you need to have a little bit more of a lighter hand and definitely a very dispersed brush. Really not too much of a dense brush. But I do find all of these colors, you know, they do work well for my very fair complexion, and like this is the fair palette. So maybe I didn't mention also that they do have 3 palettes this year. They have a fair one, a medium one, and a deeper one, and I got the fair one. But for me, this bronzer, I'm happy using it. It works for me. A little bit on my nose. And once you've done the rest of the makeup, I find it works. The redness, you know, it dulls down and it's not too much of an issue. But if you do really like a very cool toned bronzer, which I feel like it does look quite cool in the pan there. It doesn't look all that red when you look at other bronzers, you know, in the stores. It does, but when you put it on your skin, it comes out very, you know, with red undertones. But that is the bronzer. Now for the 2 blushes, I must say the blushes to me are the standout in these palettes. I have really been enjoying them. So I'm going to do one on each side so you can see the different ones. So this one is a peach tone, and this one is the one with the like classic Hourglass marble effect, which is so beautiful. Thankfully mine has like a lot of peachiness in it, so it is quite a very strong, intense color. And then this one is a plain one, and it's a beautiful mauve. This feels very summery and this feels very wintry, so a really good like all-round selection of colors in this palette. I feel like you could use it for summer and you can use it for the winter vibes. So let's put the peach one on. And I do find that they really go on very smooth. The blushes are a real standout. I mean, even the bronzer, they go on very smooth, very easy to blend. There's no patchiness. It doesn't take a lot of work to blend them out, but they definitely have a sheen to them and a shine to the blush as well. But that is the peach one. I'm going to change my brush and pick up some of the mauve one and do that on the other side. This goes really nicely with the bronzer. There you go, that is the mauve one. A little bit more subtle, a little bit more demure, a little bit less glowy and shimmery. This one, as opposed to this one, has a little bit more of a pop in it with the pearlescence that they've added into this powder, whereas this one is a little bit more icy glow in the pearlescence part of it, but still you get a very nice color. See the two? Okay, so for the last one, which is the highlighter. This highlighter for me is the least favorite shade in the palette for the use of a highlighter. It's too much. It's very gold. It's a bit of a dark highlighter for really fair complexions, and it's just a very intense highlighter. You can see. I will put in some swatches, I think, at the beginning or at the end as well, showing these on my arm in natural light and artificial light, just so you can get a really good close-up look at these products. This, I've actually really been using it as an eyeshadow, and the bronzer as an eyeshadow. I'm going to show you them on my eyes. I think it's a beautiful eyeshadow. So I'm not mad that it's in there. I still use it. I just don't use it for the purpose of what they're put it in the palette for, which is okay. It's makeup. There's no rules. You can do lots with it. For me, I live in Hong Kong. It's often very hot and humid here, and I don't really wear highlighter that much. You know, I will just take a little bit of my blush brush and just dust a little bit so it's very dispersed. Just put a little bit on, but it's nice, but it's a little bit of a chunkier highlighter in my opinion, and a bit too much for me. So I'm going to show you the bronzer around the eyes and the highlighter. So I'm going in with a fluffy brush on the bronzer, and I'm going to dust that in my crease just to add a little bit of shape. So this palette, you really can do a lot with it. Great palette for traveling. It just has all the things in it. But if you do really like a matte under eye setting powder, you probably are going to want to bring a setting powder with you, a separate setting powder. But for blush, bronzer, eyeshadows, it's all here. The blushes would make beautiful eyeshadows as well. I think that's really amazing. And all these powders, as you can see, they blend really well. They do blend so nice and buttery, but they are powdery. So that's it on my brow bone, and I'm going to flip these little brushes I have loved for so many years. They're so inexpensive. They come in like a 2 set, and this is my favorite one. It's from EcoTools. You can get them on iHerb. I just love them because I use this one for, you know, the lid, and then this one I use underneath my eye to add in a little bit of definition on the lower lash line. It's just perfect. So that's the bronzer as an eyeshadow to add depth to my eyes, and that's just the beauty of having it all in one palette. You've got to open, you just reach for your brush, and you've got an eye look. Amazing. So then I'm going to just grab a different brush, fluffy brush, and pick up this highlighter color, which to me, it's a gold eyeshadow. It's quite intense, and I'm going to put that on the more center part of your lid. It's a beautiful color on the eyelid. So using a fluffier brush like this gives you a wash, but you could also swirl your finger on it and press it on to get a lot more shine. it's also really pretty in the inner corners of the eyes. Just a little bit here. There we go. And we're pretty much done like a full face of, you know, color cosmetics on my face with just the one Hourglass palette. So I hope that gives you some ideas of like how to make the most out of these palettes, because they are expensive. I think they're about $90 US. I buy mine in Hong Kong dollar pricing. I think it's about $90 US for these now. So it's a lot, but they are a beautiful quality palette, and I do think they will last some time. And that's how I'm getting the most use out of this palette. You know, these ones are very interchangeable. The blushes are beautiful. The bronzer works well for me. So if you are a similar complexion to me, I do feel like you could get a great use out of it. The highlighter is quite, it's very highlightery. Maybe that's just because it's a personal thing. I don't use highlighter that much, but I love it on the eyes. I am normally just a very simple eye makeup type of person day to day, so it works out really perfect for me because it's all here and I just then quickly do my eyeshadow, and now I've got eyeshadow. Some days, honestly, I'm in such a rush I don't even put eyeshadow on. Mascara it is. But yeah, it's a full face palette in my opinion. I think you can use it as a full face palette. The other colors, the next two palettes, the deeper ones, they really do go quite deep, and a lot of people have been reviewing them. And the third one, the deepest one, people are impressed that they have created such deep shades, so they are trying to be a little bit more inclusive in their color range. So that's really good to see. A lot more brands are doing that, just like TIRTIR. They have so many shades in their cushions. I think they're up to 40 shades now, so that's like a full foundation line, so that's really amazing. So there's my review of the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Edit. I hope you liked that. I hope it was helpful. Let me know if I convinced you to pick one up for yourself, to treat yourself, or I think it's a really nice gift as well, because it's a beautiful palette, it's very useful, and you know, Hourglass is a very luxury, premium, nice, sophisticated brand in my opinion. They don't like just bring out things left, right and center when any trend pops up. I think it's very like considered, and they do these every year, which is, yeah, I'm happy that I finally got one. You know, it's not something that I'm not going to get like one each year, but I got one this year, and that's the look we created. But that's it. If you watched till the end, comment the word dragon down below so I can please thank you, and consider subscribing to the channel. I would really appreciate that. I have had a few videos recently that you guys have been absolutely loving, so I'm so thankful for that. And I love to talk to you guys in the comments, and you can always come say hi to me over on my Instagram, where I post pretty much every day with my, you know, work and my day and the life of me running around here in Hong Kong as a makeup artist, all the things I'm getting up to, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching again. Bye.